Thank you for staying tuned to Talking Business. Now let's look at the gaming and lottery industry in Nigeria. I have in the studio Dr. Saze Iyua, who's an economist. Welcome to today's show.
Thank you.
And joining us via phone is a gaming expert, the person of Paul Okoje. Paul Okoje will be joining us right away. So let's get connected to Paul Okoje, who talks to us about the gaming industry. Let's understand, first of all, what the gaming industry is all about. I asked earlier, when you hear people talk about games, maybe betting, and you hear people talk about lottery, do you consider them unserious people, or you think, oh, it's business for some person? So this is what we will be looking at today. Now let's place a call across to Paul Okoje, who will talk to us first about the gaming industry in Nigeria. All right, now, before we get connected to Paul Okoje, Dr. Saze, what comes to mind when you hear about gaming and lottery?
Yeah, just as you rightly said, that's the general impression that gamblers.
Okay.
Because that's the generic name to gambling.
Okay.
Unserious people, or some also think it's immoral, some think it's unethical.
Okay.
And so they are different. It carries some negative connotations.
All right, well, let's get to know now if Paul Okoje agrees with us. Good afternoon, Paul.
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, so first let's understand, you're a gaming expert. So when people talk about gaming and lottery, some persons tend to think it's for unserious persons who just want to gamble and try their luck. But what do you think about it? What is gaming and what is lottery?
Well, lottery, it's the act of setting up numbers, to be able to make a draw to get a winner with the numbers that are being, set up. While gaming is the act of competing with the lottery operator to be able to win by, getting the actual numbers. That is what gaming and lottery is all about.
Okay. All right, now, so how does it translate into business? For the operator, how do you translate these things into business?
For the operator, it translates into business because when you say that you have to make a draw and somebody picks the right number through gaming, when they get the number that was drawn, it translates to business because some of these things are transactional. You have to put money to be able to play your numbers, and when you win, like let's say you have let's say 5 numbers, for example, and you play 5 numbers and you win the 5 numbers, you get the full payment of the money that you're supposed to get for playing that number. But if you don't get all the numbers, you may get part payment. There is a way that the operators manage to at least still give people who play the game some compensation for playing, or some don't.
Okay. Now,
so lottery means just raising money by selling number tickets and people play and try to win.
Try to win. Okay, so it's basically a game of luck.
Partly yes, I would say yes, but partly I would say no, because if you're a good, how do I say, gaming person that can predict numbers, you can win, and people will really make serious money out of playing lottery.
Okay, so it then falls on your ability to be able to predict accurately.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like the way coupon used to be in those days, where you have to look at the Premier League and see this club, it's going to win this club. You just predict, Chelsea is better than Tottenham or Hawks. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
once you know, you can say, okay, Chelsea will win with this. That's betting. But in the coupon those days, you just do a number. Who's going to score the goal? Is it number 10 or number 7? You can say, okay, no, number 7. Because of what you understand about the game, so you can predict.
What kinds of gaming businesses do we have in Nigeria today?
Hello?
Hello, Paul, can you hear me? What are the kinds of gaming businesses do we have in Nigeria currently? Hello?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What kinds of gaming businesses do we have in Nigeria today? I know there are lots, but can you give us some of them?
Actually, in Nigeria today, there are various gaming laws in Nigeria today that is regulating gambling and gaming license, both by the federal government and the state government. So it's not something that is illegal. It's something that is very, very legal, and the government are actually making sure that it's being regulated, and you have the requisite requirements for setting up a gaming company in Nigeria. So we have the betting, and we also have the lottery, and there are different kinds of lottery that is being done in the country. But mostly now technology and betting has really taken the forefront.
Okay, this perception of some persons that gaming or lottery is gambling and it's not a serious thing, is it a problem for the business?
It's not a problem for the business.
What about the moral issue that some persons may have with gambling? Does it pose a problem for it?
In this, can you hear me?
I can hear you, go ahead.
In this crime, especially in Africa or Nigeria, we see these things as, we tend to attach a lot of, strings to it. But normally, like in other crimes, especially like, in the Western world, if you're addicted to it, they have to report you.
Okay.
They have to report you to the authorities that you are addicted to gambling, and it is very wrong for you to get a paycheck and spend all the money gambling. It's wrong. So it's just something that should be able to, when you make some money, you can be able to use it and solve some of your personal issues that you have. It's not something that you have to be addicted to. That's against the law, and that is why the law states that you must be 18 years and above to be involved in it.
Okay, let me ask, as someone who knows very much about the gaming and the lottery business in Nigeria, how can you say this has impacted the society, the economy specifically?
When you look at it from, what impact or what benefits that it has done for the economy, the National Lottery Commission, they take money for you to get a license. Like, you have to pay some stipulated amount depending on the category that your system falls, in between. Then before they give you the license, and that also helps, the government as well. And there are also penalties when you default or when there is something. That also helps. Then the people who are also playing the game, like I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was this young boy who won, I think, 28 million. So that's going to help him, and that's going to help his family, and that's going to help other people around. So it has benefit. I think the benefit is more than, the losses. So you can never hear somebody has spent, I don't know, but it happens in other crimes. Somebody has spent 50 million gambling without winning 1 million. I don't know if you've heard that before. But people actually, win these games, they take money and they use it for themselves. And that's what lottery is designed for.
Okay. All right. Now, okay. Has that been in operating a gaming business or even a lottery? Is it possible that the company runs at loss or has winnings that the company can't pay? Does a situation like that ever occur?
Well, I have never heard of any, so I would not say that it doesn't exist. I would not say that it exists. But however it is, there is no way you win and you don't get paid. I've never seen that happen. If you win, definitely you will get paid. So companies are not there and say they don't have the money because people play the game and someone won. It's just like football. You know, people get to the field, you want your country to win, I want the other person's country to win. I want your club to win, you want your club to win, I want my club to win. But at the end of the day, somebody's going to win and somebody's going to take the prize. And somebody's going to lose. So there is no case that if you win, you're not going to get paid. You definitely will get paid.
All right, what's your take on the FI? Go ahead, Paul.
No, ask me your next question, please.
Okay, what's your take on the FIRS planning to tax online betting operators?
Well, to be very frank with you, in Nigeria, they make policies that doesn't make sense to me, except I see those policies basically as government extortion. Because the reason why I see it that way is that the FIRS or the state, whatever, they just wake up in the morning and just feel there is a law, so we start taking money from people. But you don't understand how these people build their business with their own money and they went through all the bottlenecks, regulations and laws for them to be able to be operational, and now you want to start taxing them. So for me, I think those taxing this company, because it's Nigeria, normally if it's in other climates, the government that actually do lottery, not even individuals. But here they just feel that you're making a lot of money, so that you have to pay your taxes. There are ways this thing can be managed. If you want to take taxes, you can tax the player. Because you can tax, whoever is winning, you can tax them. You can tax the player while the company will pay their normal tax that is entitled to them as a company operating in Nigeria. Not, you know how government, I will say this point blank. People who have never built businesses before, they're the ones making the rules. If you have built a business, you will understand how these taxes can actually, destroy a company or a business. And it's not good at all. So they should sit down and not start looking for online betting and how they're going to be taxing them. They are registered companies in Nigeria and they pay taxes. So you have to let these companies know that they have to pay taxes. And that's it. They will pay. Nobody wants to run away from paying taxes. But it just depends on how they want to put that thing forward.
All right, before we go on to look at the challenges of gaming and lottery, I have in the studio an economist, Dr. Saze Iyo. I want him to react to the issue of taxing online betting operators. Now, Paul Okoji is of the view that they could tax, but he sees it as something that may impact the business as well because of how they may be taxed, online betting operators. But what do you think about that? Those who have physical betting houses or gaming houses are taxed. Do you think it makes sense for online betting operators as well to be taxed?
Yeah, he has said he has talked so much like an expert. And online betting, the point is, it's not, the last act for that covers lottery was that in 2000, I think there was a review in 2005, the National Lottery Act, which set up the National Lottery Regulation Commission. So I think it just has to be reviewed because that act covered land borders, just physical structures. So, and recently we see that online betting has gained so much popularity. In fact, PricewaterhouseCoopers, that audit firm, I heard they did an audit review report in 2020, and they found out that $5.5 million is generated from just online betting in Nigeria. In fact, they found that Nigeria is the largest online betting market in Africa after South Africa. In South Africa, they say 82% of their population carry out betting generally. So I think there's this recognition now that online betting is getting so much ground. $5.5 million annually in 2020, Pricewater. So I think government is now wants to bring them into the tax net. So just beyond physical structures, the physical beds which we can see. I know it happened also when online businesses, Amazons, and they had to be brought, even general, there was a global tax rule that reviewed tax. So I think it's something that it may be difficult to run away from. I understand his point, but he also gave a solution that it should probably not be on the company, but the player, the person who bets. But I think whoever is bearing the tax burden, there has to be a tax. It's just natural. Government makes money from taxes. It's just because our tax contribution to GDP in Nigeria is very low. In fact, it's the lowest in probably in the whole world, one of the lowest. So I think government would want to do that. But the point is, whoever bears the tax burden, whether the player or the company
bottom line, tax should be paid.
Yeah, you have to pay, and they know how to shift taxes. So I know even if the players, the betting companies would fix it into their charges, sales of tickets. So they will always be able to find a way out of it. I also like the point that he talked about government running lotteries. In developed countries, which is very true, government are the ones who run these lotteries. It's not so. If you read the history of the University of Pennsylvania in USA, it was built completely A to Z from lottery funds. The Chinese Wall, that Great Wall of China, it was a time when China was going through serious financial problems. They couldn't set up their defenses. They ran a lottery, China, and that from the proceeds they built the Great China Wall, Chinese Wall, and so on. Countries make money from. We should have. You can have cases like local governments in Nigeria, Oredo, Onwa West local government, who are having financial challenges. You can run a lottery, and from the proceeds, we meet infrastructural deficit and so on. So there are so many gains to lottery beyond employment and so on. So that's my take before I expert.
All right, Paul. Do you subscribe to? Do we still have Paul? We have to connect again. Now, all right. Now let's look at the issue of people turning to betting. Does that seem to have an economic downside?
Yeah, he said, he rightly pointed that the fact that when it becomes an addiction, that's when the issue comes up. And according to him, he said there are laws in developed countries to monitor that. I read in Nevada, a state in US, that the studies found a high correlation between betting, addiction, and suicide. Suicide, Nevada recorded the fourth highest number of suicide in US. And they are also the fourth largest bettors. Las Vegas, that's the home of betting in US. The same thing. So they have shown a correlation between suicide, betting addiction, divorce, domestic violence, because you have someone who used his entire salary to go and bet or stake, and the thing now turns out wrongly, and he's trying to vent on his wife or his children. So addiction is where the problem is. But beyond that, in terms of economic development, it's lottery, which is the legal side of it, has shown to be of high value. GDP, lottery gambling industry generally contributes about 0.8% of US GDP, US's GDP. That's about 1%. That's huge. You have some sectors that don't contribute as much as 0.2. So 0.8 from the gambling industry is huge. So contribution to GDP through taxes. We are not talking of government, as I gave examples, participating directly in lottery. So the economic benefit is enormous. We are not talking of jobs. In US, they said that the lottery industry, statistics show that is the fourth largest employer of labor. Las Vegas alone, the home of casino, they say just in Las Vegas, provides as much as 500,000 jobs. 500,000. That's it. US alone, about 1 million jobs are provided by lottery. So because you have people who design these websites, you want to launch a lotto or something, you have people who design it, people who will maintain it. They will have customer care lines with people who will be calling. We're not talking of, you go to casinos, big casinos in South Africa, in US, you have hotels attached to it because people come from different countries to those casinos. You have hotels, you have a restaurant, you have hospitality, you have a bar, so all these are the indirect benefits associated. So as far as it's legal, as far as it's caught within the acts, the legal law, the laws of the country, then you can't call it illegal anymore. And so that's the point. I think economically it provides, But the addiction, which he talked about, is where the negative effect comes in.
In a country like us, do you think it would be easy to monitor how people go about betting?
Yeah, I think that we might have issues with that, since we don't have our demography, our statistical nets, the nets of bringing citizens into a statistical, what do you call it, a statistical net. Yeah, it has a problem. We don't have biometrics, we don't have details, personal details in our systems. So you can't even say how much do I earn as salary. You can't dictate how much does it pay, because we have a poor computerization of our data. So I think it will now, the responsibility will now fall to relatives. We should have wives go to report. At least you know what your husband's salary is. You know how much he's betting. So it will have to be a
But how would the wife, for instance, know how much her husband is betting if it's just something that, oh, you pay in cash? You don't know how much he has that day that he's used to bet, except maybe when he comes home and you find the tickets and maybe he talks about it.
Yeah, those are the downsides. So it means that we should now start having terms and conditions, We should have terms and conditions from these betting companies saying that you have to disclose to at least your next of kin your complete transactions. Or we'll probably these companies should probably ask for next of kin information. You get it? Either email or phone number or text message, so that whatever transactions is being carried out by the direct bettor or the player is also shown and copied to the next of kin who he has submitted, either his mother or his sister, so that whatever, just like they are sending emails to him that this and this you have betted successfully for this week, expect to get your results by Sunday, the message is copied also to the next of kin, so that there are checks. Since we have computerization of data problem, because the addiction is the downside to it, suicide, job losses, and so on. But beyond that, I think that the lottery business has not been tapped into effectively. The National Lottery Regulation Commission in 2018 projected that the government can make 341 billion naira. That's 2018 from just lottery.
How did they make that projection? Is it from the government running lottery itself or from taxation?
From taxation, they said if in states, in Texas, for example, tax rate on just lottery is about 20%. In Nevada, it's about 18%. Some states have as high as 25, 30%. So you can imagine betting. And we said Pricewaterhouse said 5.5 million from online betting alone. The company Pricewaterhouse, the auditors also said that 58 million naira, $58 million was made nationwide. 5.5 from just online, but 58 generally, both online and physical. So you can imagine if there is a tax rate of 20% on $58 million. You can imagine how much that brings to account. So it was a combination of all that taxes. Then states, and I don't know, I think it's something that awareness needs to be done. You could also have government parastatals who have issues with financial. It happens in developed countries. You have universities running lotteries. In Niger Republic, it's that there are some villages that they use lottery proceeds to get borehole, sink borehole. So rural areas, you need roads, you need borehole, you can just run a lottery.
But what about in a country like us, where a lot of persons have religious views about certain things? Do you think that would fly here?
Yeah, I think that's where the issue. But the issue is illegal. Yeah. So since the law, the National Lottery Regulation, the National Lottery Act 2000, reviewed 2005, has domesticated it, has recognized lottery, so it's no longer illegal. So it's now moral basis. So I know morality is neither here nor there. Even going to the hospital, some religious believe that you shouldn't go to the hospital. Some say you shouldn't take blood transfer from others. So it might not really be relevant, because if you want to talk about morality, a lot of taxes on tobacco, a lot of taxes on alcohol. Those are even seen as more morally degrading activities, but government gets taxes from them. So it should not be something that's why it's not obligatory. It's for those who have convictions, moral convictions, to go with it. So I think that's not a problem. What matters is it legal? But for now, because online betting has not been captured by the act, so it can be seen as illegal for now. Anything that the law does not recognize is considered illegal. So I think the authorities, the National Assembly should make every effort quickly to bring the online betting into the
Okay, we've got Paul Okoji back online. Hello, Paul. Hello. Okay, we can hear you, Paul. All right, now, so what do you think the challenges to the growth of the gaming industry in Nigeria?
The challenges?
Yes.
The challenges is actually the policies.
Oh, okay.
Because bureaucracy kind of make it very difficult for people to be able to do this business. And, because, one thing about this business is it creates employment as well. And it also generates revenue for the government. So the policies are the problem. Once the policies are created in a way that Nigerians can be able to invest their money and take the risk of getting involved in the business, that's going to really help build the economy and raise more revenue for the country.
Sorry to cut in. You mentioned risk. What possible risk could there be in operating a gaming business?
Well, if, for example, you're into the business and you have more people subscribing to your services, definitely you're making money and you're able to pay your staffs and you're able to pay people who are playing the game, and the government is able to get their own, whether it's through taxing or whichever way, in terms of the profit that the company has made, they can pay their tax as well. So if there is a level playing field for everybody and the policies are checked very well so that it doesn't, kill the business even before the business is born, that would really help the economy a lot and would create jobs, most importantly, jobs for, Nigerians.
I want you to speak in specific terms. Are there some policies you want to mention that doesn't create a level playing ground for all bet operators or all betting companies? Hello, Paul.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, you went out for a while. So I said once these policies are being, checked very well, it will create, a better opportunity for people. People will be employed by these companies, and also, the government will be able to get their taxes as a when due, and that would really help for the business not to die before it starts.
Yeah, and then I asked, are there some policies specifically that you want to mention that tend to favor some companies over others, that doesn't create a level playing ground for all betting companies or gaming companies?
Well, in Nigeria, there are certain people who have been in the business for a long period of time, and we need to understand that there is something in business called monopoly. Some people are trying to hold on to some certain, customers, and they don't want anybody else to come in and take their customers away from them. So it kind of makes the business a little difficult. But I guess if you're able to create a very good brand and make sure that your services are top notch, definitely the people will want to do business with you as well. They want to play your game and also make money. So it's kind of dicey, but so far, it's okay. The policies that they need to make is they should allow everybody to try. But the laws are there. The laws are really there. Some are difficult, some are easy. But you need to just really have a clear understanding of the business before you get into it.
Okay, finally, do you think there are some areas that gaming operators have not yet tapped into in Nigeria? Yes, we have some kinds of game. Hello, Paul. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Your voice keep going out.
I guess that's network. All right, so I'm asking, we have some kinds of gaming businesses in Nigeria already operational, but do you think there's some aspect that are yet to be tapped into that could further boost the prospects of the gaming industry in Nigeria?
I think the aspect that I would say that people need to tap into is technology.
Okay.
People need to use technology and use it very well. There are different type of technologies that can be applied on the gaming or the lottery business that can really ease off some old ways. We need to leave some things in the past, even if like people go into kiosks to play the game or people go into a particular store. With technology you can cut all that off. There are so many things that can be done to improve the business, and people are not spending money on research in this country. They only hear ideas and they just want to try it. But when you do good research, you can find out that technology can really improve this business a lot.
But cutting those who seem to be like middlemen, those who operate the kiosks, who operate the stores where people go to get tickets and then play their games, would that not reduce the level of employment that the gaming and lottery business creates? Paul, did you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
So, cutting off, in trying to take advantage of technology, cutting off the use of kiosks and maybe stores people going to play their games, will that not reduce the amount of employment that gaming and lottery provides in Nigeria?
I don't think so. That will not, because once you try to leave the old ways, definitely there are new ways. Like, I'll give you an example. An example is when you start having e-agents. You start having, instead of you being an agent, opening a kiosk and staying there to play the game, you can just do it with your smartphone. You can be an agent online, and there are so many platforms now that you can use, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google, to just make people understand how you function and operate, and just play the game on your phone, whether you're going to use your USSD, whichever way you want to use. So that it's not killing that old business, but it's just taking it away. Instead of people having this risk, people can do it with convenience at any time. Wherever they are, they can just play without waiting to rush somewhere or trying to get to somewhere. Stuff like that. You're in the traffic. You can't just wait and say, okay, let me get to this place before I play this game. We have to make it easy. So we need to use technology more on the lottery business in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Paul Okuji, for your time with us on the show. It's been very valuable.
All right. Thank you very much. No problem. You're welcome.
All right.
Anytime I'll be here to present to you.
Of course, we'll reach out and let's you talk more about the gaming industry in Nigeria some other time.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well. Okay, so that's as much as we can take from Paul Okuji today, providing us so much insight about the business. Now, before we wrap up, what do you think can happen to? You've talked about ways government can come in.
Yeah.
You talked about how there's so much to be tapped into when it comes to the gaming industry. But specifically, what should be done?
Yes, just related to what you asked him on types of the lottery. You have different types. You have SMS. So government can come into it. In South Africa, it was said that in 2020 they made about $600 million from gambling, gaming generally, and that about 50% was just from 50% was from SMS and lottery. So you can do platforms where you tell people to respond. I remember when we were young, we used to see it on television where they were, usually I think it's NTA then, the National Lottery Regulation Commission. You see them rolling numbers. Hey, you're number 1, 0. At the end of the day, they'll give like 10 numbers that were the winners for this week. So we're always looking forward to it. I remember I was a child then. Usually every Saturday.
But do you see credibility being an issue? Because I know at that time when some of those things were being done, some persons think, oh, it's all planned. The winners are already known. Yeah. So some persons tell you, oh, I try over and over again, and I never win.
Yeah, it will always be like that. Even for admission into university, you would apply and another person's name comes and you said it was they used Wayo to do it. So most times there will always be issues like that. credibility might come in, but how transparent the process is now lies on the organizers. They have to give us a lowdown of how they come about it, but that's one good way of making fun. It's I think it's just a secret to most organizations. Even tickets, you have times when you buy something, then there's a ticket attached to it, then you scratch. So lottery is usually supposed to, lottery and gambling and betting are different. Betting is usually sports, usually the stakes or the fee you pay in betting is usually higher. But lottery is usually moderate fee. You can pay as much as 20, low as 20, 100 naira, and so on. So lottery, it's something that people can use to make money. Businesses, you need, a transport company needs more buses. You add probably 1,000, they need to Lagos is 4,000, you make it 5,000. Consumers or users of the bus, the line know that there's a 1,000, there's a ticket attached. And that if he scratches the ticket, he can get 1 million naira. So you sell those tickets, you sell 1,000 tickets for like 1 million.
So these are things that could be added to already existing businesses.
Yes. So you get 2 million extra. How many people we hunt? So you have ways that local government officials, government at different levels could use lottery as a way of raising funds, especially in the situation that we are now, where we are in a dire situation, oil has failed, and so small units, not necessarily the federal government, can just adopt it as a way of making proceeds, and it's fun. It's usually, lottery is supposed to be fun. As I said, the stakes are not usually high. 100 naira, 2 naira. Then when you drink minerals or all these soft drinks, the bottle, there's a way children will open it that time, and they tell you win the television, win. Sometimes you don't even win anything. You look for and look, you keep buying, and so it's just ways of raising funds, it's entertainment generally. There's a way of raising funds. The moral part of it should not really be emphasized, because if you are buying a bottle of soft drink and you're gambling. So I don't know if that's also wrong. So it's just to de-emphasize, disabuse people's mind that it's just one of the industries in the economy, and it has very strong potentials of providing. Because if NRC say about 300 billion can be made from lottery, that's their projection. How much is the budget for health for the whole year? Just 800 billion. So that's just, so that makes up like 50%. It takes care of probably your health, at least to 50%. So it helps. It's something that the government and the private sector should also do to see how to raise funds, diversify their sources of income.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saze Iyowa, for being on the show today. If you just joined, well, I wouldn't want to say you just missed so much, because you can also go over to our YouTube channel and watch the video of today's discussion, where we'll be looking at the gaming and lottery industry in Nigeria. So for a business person who's run out of ideas, a good one has come for you at no fee charged. You could use lottery as an incentive to attract more customers, and this is something that private individuals, private businesses, governments can go into to raise funds. Now you know it's legal, but you must abide by the rules of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission so that you're not found wanting. My name is Blessing Leche, and that's been the show today. Go on and enjoy your weekend. See you next week.